Hi everybody, how's it all going? I hope this video finds you all well. This is MAW0001 with yet another review video. This is for the second week in November. Let me just check that. Yep, for comics that come out on the 9th of November. And it's definitely a mixed bag this week, sorry. As always with all my videos, I'll say it every video. This is just my opinion of my review on these comics. Please go out, make your own mind up on these comics, and let me know what you think down in the comments section down there. And with all the videos, as always, we start off with what I think is the worst comic this week, and that has got to be Grifter. Yeah, it's not a good comic. I never read this character. I never really got into this character when he was first introduced in the Image comics that come out. I never read anything to do with this character when he was brought into the Wildstorm universe, when DC Comics become the distributor of Wildstorm Comics. And quite frankly, if it wasn't for the fact I was doing these review videos, I wouldn't be reading this comic now. It's so full of cliches. Literally, as soon as you got past the first 3 or 4 pages, I knew what was going to happen in the rest of the comic. It is a really dull, boring comic, and the sooner it gets cancelled by DC, the better, as far as I'm concerned. Next, we have another dull and boring comic, which is Deathstroke. Again, every week I will probably say, every time this comes out, I'll probably say this: the only redeeming feature is the Simon Beasley artwork covers. What the hell? Yeah, it is really a boring comic. There's nothing interesting in this whatsoever. The art is quite dull. The writing style is, well, quite puerile actually. It is very crash bang wallop. It's not a very interesting comic at all. It is just lots of action sequences taped together, and nothing else. No story whatsoever. And you really didn't think it was going to be that far away, did you? Scott Liddell comic from being the worst comic of the week. This is Superboy. And talking about dull comics, this is a dull comic. I got halfway through reading this comic and I nearly fell into a coma. I was that bored. It is... I'd like to say something nice about this comic, but I really can't. Actually, I've got one thing that could be interesting. At the end of the story, end of the comic, I don't think this is going to be a spoiler, but at the end of the comic, could that be the first appearance of this new DC Wildstorms universe of, is it Caitlin Fairchild from Gene 13? If you haven't read this comic, just flick to the last page and see if I'm right, okay? Yeah? And next we have Suicide Squad. Another dull comic. Yeah, it's just there's just no story to it, and there is a sort of sex scene that looks like it was, it was just put in there just to bump up the comic, the interest of the comic, and even that didn't make it that interesting. I still don't like Harlequin's new costume, and it is quite a sad thing to say that this comic is just like the last previous ones. It's just boring, not really much to go on really. And next we have Batman and Robin. This comic, I would say, is overkill for Batman. You've got two fantastic comics in Batman and Detective Comics, and Batman, The Dark Knight, and Batman and Robin, DC could really do without. It's just cluttering up what is, from what I can tell within the reboot, is already a quite confusing continuity already, due to the fact that he's had what, 4 Robins in 5 years. From what I've read about the continuity of these comics now. Yeah, Batman and Robin, not a very good comic. Steer clear from it if you can. Get Batman or Detective Comics if you want a Batman comic. The Huntress. Now, on the front of this comic, let me just double check. It has the little blurb on it which says, and I quote, "Danger has never looked this good." And yeah, you're right. The cover's absolutely gorgeous. The interior art's really nice. The only thing was, I got past the first sort of like 7 or 8 pages, and I actually had to pick up issue 1 again, because I actually thought I picked up a copy of The Huntress #2 that had accidentally had issue 1 put into the covers, because it was so similar to #1 that I had to double check. That is how repetitive this issue is for #1. And next we have Legions Lost. I think it should be renamed Fabio Nincenza doesn't have a clue. Yeah, it is a really, really... Last issue was really good. The last issue of this was really good. This has gone back, as far as I'm concerned, to issue 1. There is no real character development with the legionnaires that have been lost. The way that they are sitting there saying, "Oh, you know, we can't get in contact with Superman just in case we get him infected with this virus that we've brought to this time." Well, they've got a telepath with them, so why can't they use the telepath to get in contact with Superman? That way they wouldn't have to have any physical contact with him. You know, but yeah, no, very convoluted comic that. Next we have Mr. Terrific. Yeah, it's an okay comic. It is one of those ones that is actually, you know, I'm sort of warming to. There are a few bits in there that I'm still not too keen on. Again, the portrayal of Karen Starr in this as just a, you know, the third smartest man in the world's girlfriend, or shag buddy, whatever you want to call her. The artwork's really nice. There are some interesting plot lines in this that does make me want to keep on coming back to it month after month. There's just better comics out there than this, and there's just something missing with this comic that I just can't put my finger on, which seems to be a lot of DC comics at the moment. There's just something not quite right about it, that it just doesn't make it the best comic there is. Batgirl. I don't really hold grudges that long. I really don't. I'm not one of those people that hold grudges for a long time. You know, usually if somebody cheeses me off, I get over it fairly quickly. This isn't one of those times, and I'm still raw from the fact that they are still using the "it's a miracle, it just happened" that Barbara Gordon can now walk, do martial arts and gymnastics better than some gold medal Olympic champions can. You know, and there's still no explanation as to why she can now do this. The artwork inside is really nice. That's Adam Hughes on the covers, I believe. You can't go wrong with an Adam Hughes cover, can you? Next we have Green Lantern, and I think Jeff Jones is getting bored of Green Lantern, because I know I am. And which is a real pity because Blackest Night, War of the Green Lanterns was really good, and it seems to me that he's channeling all his creativeness into Aquaman more than any of the other comics that he's writing at the moment. Green Lantern's still an alright comic to read. You know, it's still quite interesting. There's a nice twist with the Sinestro making Hal Jordan a Green Lantern again, sort of scenario sort of thing. But I don't know, it's just not Jeff Jones' best work. If you want to read a Jeff Jones comic, I would suggest going to read Aquaman without doubt. But Green Lantern, it's all right. Demon Knights, still good, still interesting. It has lost a bit of the shine from the first issue. The first issue had wow factor. This is getting to the third issue now, and it does seem to be starting to plod along a bit. I think it needs to pick up pace a bit more for it to be as good as the first issue again. The artwork in it's still gorgeous. Still a really nice story. If you like things like Lord of the Rings or Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that, you will like this. I like the way that they're portraying the demon in this comic, and the way that they're portraying Madame Xanadu, isn't it? Madame Xanadu, yeah. And as well as that, is the Shining Knight a girl or a boy? And will we ever find out? Who knows? Frankenstein, Agents of S.H.A.D.E. Yeah, it's a fun comic. As I've said before, very Lovecraftian. Very, very Lovecraftian. The artwork, still not too sure on it, but it's okay. It does fit the excuse me. It does fit the writing style and the characters quite well. Yeah, there's. I think it's fitting that it's at this point of the of my comics for this week. It's a fun comic, and that's what comics should be, innit? At the end of the day, it should be fun. So yeah, if you haven't tried it yet, Frankenstein, Agent of S.H.A.D.E, pick it up. I reckon you'll like it. The Penguin, Pain and Prejudice. I'm really liking this comic. It is brilliant. The only reason why it's not higher in this list for this week, the parts that had Batman in it, I actually found quite boring. And the bits where the Penguin was on his own, or you were learning more about his past, were much more interesting to me than the dynamic between the Penguin and the Batman. You find out a lot more about the Penguin's previous life, and you find out that basically the Penguin has been a vicious, maniacal little person all his life, really. Really good comic. Resurrection Man. I'm enjoying this comic. It's a fun story. It's a fun comic. The artwork, is nice. Again, the creative team in this hasn't changed much since the first series, if at all. And it's a really fun, really interesting comic to read. I've still got a bit of a problem because I don't know whether this is a continuation of the first series or whether it is actually a reboot for this character with the rest of the DC reboot, because obviously a lot of characters didn't get rebooted in this, they just got updated or a new costume or something. But yeah, really fun story, really fun comic, and it is one of the better comics this week. And I don't think this is going to be much of a surprise, really. Batwoman, gorgeous artwork, brilliant story. Really, if you're not reading this comic, why aren't you reading this comic? It is just such an amazing comic, and You know, that's what I can say. Really, is this, you know, the words found me with this comic. You open each page, and the artwork just jumps out at you. It just flows towards you, and it is like art. You know, it is like you could stick this up in the Tate gallery. I think, yeah, and it would pull in the crowds because this comic is that good. So if you're not reading this, you should be reading this. So there you go. That's my reviews for this week's DC Comics. I am working on doing reviews for other comics. I do read other comics in DC, so with any luck, I should be getting that out at some point somewhere. Maybe next time. See how it goes. See the time in that. Thank you for watching, and please comment down below. I see there's a reaction box now. If you want to put a reaction there in the reaction box, feel free to do so. Thank you everybody so much for subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed yet and you're watching this video, please do so. You know, nothing says, you know, you like somebody's channel than subscribing to it, so please do subscribe to the channel. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you soon. Ta-ta for now.